From heated, on-air verbal rebukes to the infamous Mr. Miserable remark on live radio, here's why Charles Barkley hates Kevin Durant. You know those infamous celebrity feuds that seem to go on forever? Barkley's and Durant's is one definitely deserving a place top of the list. Their squabble has gone on through what might seem the entirety of their careers. Only recently, it was reignited on a Sunday night's episode of 60 Minutes on CBS, where Barkley thought it fit to use his airtime to take shots at Durant. The former NBA star didn't hold back his opinions about Durant, saying he's very sensitive. As if that wasn't enough, Barkley went on with his war of words, saying, "Great player, he's part of that generation who thinks he can't be criticized. He's never looked in the mirror and says, 'Man, is that a fair criticism?'" But in basic terms, what Barkley was really saying was that Durant was thin-skinned and unwilling to accept constructive criticism. Now, when previously questioned about the beef, Durant had shrugged it off, saying, "Wouldn't call it beef, he's just madly opinionated," and he feels like it's his job to be madly opinionated in a negative way about players. But after Barkley's remarks, Durant had his own few words. In true Durant fashion, the NBA All-Star quickly took to Twitter to fire back, tweeting, "This ain't getting tiring, Chuck? I'll never respect the words that come out ya mouth, fam. Just deal with it." Now, one might argue that this very response was proof of what Barkley was on about. After all, Durant plainly came out and said he would never accredit Barkley's opinions. But there's always two sides to a story, right? Also, this feud goes beyond just one single radio interview and social media exchange. You see, over the years, the two NBA stars have engaged in a series of heated exchange and verbal jabs through the media. Where did it all begin, you wonder? Well, it all started when Durant joined an allegedly loaded Warriors team back in 2016. It's worth noting that Durant had already proven himself as a formidable force in the game. Next to being the youngest NBA scoring champion at the time, not only had he won an All-Star MVP and an MVP, he had also earned a whopping 4 scoring titles and quite possibly a well-deserved spot on most people's top 10. Surely this was enough to solidify his place among the greatest offensive forces in the game. Yet despite this, Barkley, a basketball icon in his own right, boasting an MVP title and 11 All-Star selections to his name, wasted no time expressing his discontent about Durant's move on ESPN Radio's Mike and Mike. He outwardly stated that he was disappointed about the move, like he was disappointed when LeBron went to Miami. Not to get Barkley wrong, the TNT analyst still acknowledged Durant as a great player. In that very statement, he went further to say, "Kevin is a terrific player, he's a good kid, but I'm just disappointed with the fact that he weakened another team and he's gonna kind of gravy train on a terrific Warriors team." You might say he viewed Durant's move more like a betrayal of competition, or rather, a path to an easy championship. After all, he'd be joining the likes of two-time MVP Stephen Curry, Klay Thompson, widely regarded as the greatest shooting backcourt ever, not to mention Andre Iguodala and Draymond Green, arguably the best defenders of their time. You see, Durant would be joining a team that had won 73 games and only lost to LeBron James and the Cleveland Cavaliers in the NBA Finals. And who'd be the biggest losers? Well, the team he'd be leaving, of course. His team, the Thunder. But the Thunder wasn't doing too bad either. It was up 3-1 and really close to reaching the finals. However, it would have to go against its opponents, guess who? The Golden Warriors, who had won the championship only a year before. And now with Durant on their team, the Hunters simply wouldn't stand a chance. If you think about it, Barkley might have been onto something. Barkley's reasoning was that if such moves were encouraged, it would result in only a few super teams in the NBA, leaving every other team underperforming. Well, as predicted, Durant's first season with the Golden Warriors saw them beat his former team, the Thunder, 3 times. Ultimately, he helped the Golden Warriors secure not 1, but 2 consecutive championships. And not just that, he also won 2 Finals NBA MVP awards. 2 years in a row. Now, if that's not impressive, I don't know what is, but outstanding as it wasn't enough to end Durant's feud with Barkley. In fact, it set the stage for a heated rivalry that was to span through years. Fast forward to the NBA playoffs in 2022 when Durant's then team, the Brooklyn Nets, lost to the Celtics in the first round. An opinionated Barkley went on to comment that Durant was more of a bus rider than a bus driver. In his words, he said, "If you ain't driving the bus, don't walk around talking about you a champion." The comment plainly implied that Durant was lacking the leadership skills to carry his team to victory. As you may guess, Durant didn't take Barkley's remarks lying down. Never one to shy away from a comeback, he took to social media to make a few statements of his own. On Instagram, Durant posted a myriad of photos where Durant appeared alongside his fellow NBA All-Stars in his time playing. This included Hall of Famers like Scottie Pippen, Hakeem Olajuwon, and Clyde Drexler. To top it off, Durant made a reference to Barkley's days playing with the 76ers, highlighting his teammates like Moses Malone, Julius Erving, and Maurice Cheeks. Of course, Durant didn't stop there. He concluded with a photo of Barkley's team in Philadelphia, accompanied by a nice little caption that read, "Where would Chuck be without the big homies?" The name Chuck obviously being a reference to Charles Barkley. The implication here was that Barkley owed his success to the support of his accomplished teammates. But just when we thought the drama was over, the fire was sparked again when Durant requested to be traded from the Nets after the 2022 season, and as usual, Barkley had his 2 cents on the matter. In an interview with Arizona Sports 98.7 FM, the former NBA star took to the airwaves and, without mincing words, stated, "He get mad when we say it. He piggyback on the Warriors to win his first 2 championships, but if you go back and look at his career as the best player and being a leader that all goes with that, he's been an abject failure." He went even further, dubbing Durant Mr. Miserable, a comment that would gain traction in social media. He said, "I call him Mr. Miserable. He's never gonna be happy." Barkley provided some further context, saying, "Everybody's given him everything on a silver platter. He was the man in Oklahoma City. They loved him. He owned the entire state. Then he bolts on them and goes to the Warriors. He wins back-to-back championships, and he's still not happy." He continued, "Then he goes to Brooklyn, they give him everything he wants, and he's still miserable." Wow. A bit harsh, if you ask me. Still, when it comes to sheer talent and skill in playing basketball, there seems to be mutual respect between the two. When his move to the Suns was brought up, and it being the team that Barkley went to the finals with, Durant replied rather surprisingly, "He's a legend that I've got nothing but respect for, and when I look up, I'm gonna play with pride knowing that he put blood, sweat, and tears into this organization." However, in true Durant fashion, he went further to state, "So that ain't got nothing to do with how he is an analyst though. Like, I don't agree with how he approaches the game as a Hall of Famer. His game as an analyst? I don't really with your approach. That's my opinion of you, just like your opinion of us." Because at the end of the day, everyone has their opinion. But Durant's opinion left fans wondering if they'll ever squash the beef with Barkley. And if not, who will fire the next jab? From scathing critiques on national television to fiery exchanges on social media, that is why Charles Barkley hates Kevin Durant.